Hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Meredith E. Phillips. I'm a writer, reader, and bunny mama, and I just had a birthday. If you're watching this the day it goes live on the 23rd, my birthday was on Sunday, March 21st, and I turned 35 years old. 35 years old.
35 years old.
That's a number that I am old. Okay. It's like, okay, well, we're closer to 40 than we are to 30. Oh gosh. I know that's like the cliche thing to say, but I don't feel like I'm that old. This is not what I thought 35 would be like. If you had asked me 10 years ago, oh, what's your life going to be like when you're 35? Would not have said I'd be living in Texas. I would have thought, oh, we'll have kids, we'll be doing the whole kid thing, I'll be like a stay-at-home mom. That didn't happen, which is fine, by the way, but it's just interesting. So we're adjusting, changing our mindset a little bit. We're doing good. But today I wanted to do something a little different. I saw this idea over on Erin J. Doyle's channel, I guess last month, and I'll link her video below. She did 37 lessons that she's learned in 37 years. And since I'm turning 35, I thought, oh, that would be fun. I'll do 35 lessons that I've learned in 35 years. Maybe one of them will help you. Maybe it'll just be a kind of fun one-off video. It's taken me a while to write all of these down. I've been thinking over this list for a couple weeks now, and this is what I came up with. I'm sure there's other things I've learned, but these are the big ones. And we're gonna start off the list with the most important thing that I have learned in the last 35 years. Are you ready? This is a big one. I want you to pay attention to this because this applies to literally everyone. The lesson is, do not, under any circumstance, no matter what, do not pluck gray hairs. Don't do it. Yes, there's a story. I won't have stories for all of these because that will take forever, but this one I feel like it needs a story because it's a pretty funny story and I'm an idiot. So listen, I got my first gray hair when I was 22 years old, a senior in college. I went into the bathroom, saw it, and I was like, really? I'm 22. Are you kidding me already? It was this long, elegant gray hair coming right off the top of my head. And I looked at it and I was feeling a little vain, I guess, that day. And I said, self, if you just pluck it, then you will have no gray hair. And I said, self, that is a great idea. So I took my fingers and I plucked it off of the top of my head and I threw it in the garbage. And then I thought, yes, I am still young and with it. No gray hairs for me. What do you think happened? What happens to hair when you pluck it out of your body? Surprise of the century, it grows right back. A few weeks go by. I'm going about my regular college life business, and a few weeks later, I looked back in the mirror, and what do you think I saw? A gray hair growing right back in the same spot. Which if I had taken a second to think about it, it would have been really obvious that that's what was going to happen. Because this hair was on the very top of my head, and it was very short because it was a new hair. It was sticking straight up on the top of my head like a silver beacon, and there was no way to like comb it down, into the rest of your hair or whatever. It was just sticking straight up like a friggin' unicorn horn. I remember looking at it and thinking, you dummy, you should have just left it. You should have just left it. It wasn't that big a deal. But then I had a choice to make. I could pluck it again, but a few weeks would go by and I knew it would be right back. Or I could just let it be there, sticking straight up, and just wait until it was long enough to then, comb down into the rest of my hair. And I thought, just wait. Just let it grow and learn to be fine with it. And that's what I did. I have more gray hair now. I don't know if you can see it on video very good, but I've got a lot of silver hairs. They're beautiful. It's my natural highlights. Don't be too jealous if you don't have any yet. And they're gonna stay there because I'm way too cheap and way too lazy to like get it colored or anything like that. No, thank you. Gray hair, don't care. Number 2 is dump toxic friends. You have to break up with them like a boyfriend or something. Just break up with them. You don't need that. The third thing I've learned is that there is a really popular piece of advice that goes around, and it says, do what makes you happy. And I've learned that that's freaking terrible advice. Don't do that. Don't do that. Future Meredith popping in here because I feel like I need to explain that a little bit. I get what that piece of advice is trying to say, but it doesn't take into consideration anyone else. It's saying just do what is good for you, which might mean it's actually really terrible for someone else, which is not great. And the other thing is, you know what? Sometimes in life you have to do stuff that you don't like. And that's just how it is. It's too simple a way to say what it's trying to say. Okay, back to the video. Number 4. These are in completely random order, by the way. I meant to say that earlier. These are the order in which they came to me in my little head. Number 4, when you're first starting out, you've got your first job, post-college, whatever, and you have to do your taxes for the first time, don't freak out. Get TurboTax. It's really straightforward. If you just have a W-2, it's really easy. You literally just copy the information from the W-2 and you click through the screens saying no to pretty much everything else and you're gonna be done. They're not really that bad. Number 5, save money each month, even if it's only $5 or $10. Number 6, kind of going along with that, don't put expenditures on a credit card unless you can pay it off by the end of the month. I will make an exception for true emergencies only. Don't max out your credit card unless you really are in a bad situation. Pay off your credit card every single month, no matter what. Number 7, I have learned something about myself in this past year of pandemic times, and that is I am an introvert, but I must be super introvert, because even now, a year later, a year of quarantine later, I really still have no desire to go out and do things. I'm totally fine staying in my house for the foreseeable future. I'm good. If I got arrested for a crime and the punishment was house arrest, great. I would have no problems with that. In fact, thank you. Number 8, I've been slowly learning this one over the past maybe 2 or 3 years, and that is that my perception of how other people see me is usually wrong. Number 9 is if you are planning a wedding between you and your significant other, plan it for the two of you. You don't need to do stuff that you don't want to do just because it's traditional or you think you're obligated to do it. Don't do that. If you want a big wedding and you can afford it, go for it. If you want to just run down to the justice of the peace and be done, do that. Number 10, I learned this one over the summer. If you're going to a doctor and for whatever reason that doctor makes you uncomfortable, you can get up and leave in the middle of an appointment. You don't have to sit there being uncomfortable with them until the end of the appointment. You don't have to talk to them ever again. You can just get up, put on your clothes, and leave. Number 11, life is exponentially more easy if you have solid critical thinking skills. Number 12, find the people who have the same weird niche interests that you have and connect with them. I think most of us probably have some weird little interest that most people don't know about or most people are not interested in, and it can be really isolating. So go out to the internet. The internet is a crazy place, but it has a lot of amazing things in it too. Find the people who have that same weird interest that you do. I am part of a Facebook group with other T.E. Lawrence fanatics. It's full of a lot of old British men, but I don't care because we all love T.E. Lawrence. Number 13 is don't pick up hobbies that you know you're not gonna care about. This was big for me back probably like 10 years ago now, when the planner community started getting big and everyone was buying planners and washi tape and fun pens and all the decorative planner stuff, which is gorgeous by the way. But at the time, I really didn't have a whole lot to plan. It was go grocery shopping and do your laundry, I guess. I didn't have anything to write in a planner. I wasn't that busy. And so I bought all this stuff and then it was I don't need this. That was stupid. So don't get sucked into the new trendy thing to do unless you think it's something you're really going to enjoy and benefit from. Number 14, your job should not exhaust you to the point where you have no hobbies. Number 15, make your mental health a priority. Therapy can be expensive, but if you can afford even just one session, that can sometimes be incredibly helpful. Number 16, you do not have to friend or follow every single person you know in real life on social media, even family members. Number 17, over the past 11 and a half years of my marriage, my husband and I have moved 5 different times. We're basically a military family over here. I know some people have moved more times, but that's still a lot. That's pretty much every other year. And moving has taught me that you accumulate way more things than you will ever need. Number 18, sometimes you achieve childhood dreams and then realize that's not really what you want. And that's okay. Number 19, losing a pet is the worst, but the benefits and joy of having them outweigh the pain of saying goodbye. Number 20, you never have to apologize for crying. Number 21, social media is unpredictable. At least in my estimation. Posts that you think are probably not going to do that well, do really well, and posts that you think are going to do really well, don't do really well. I can't tell you the number of times I've posted on Instagram or here on YouTube thinking like, oh, this is really good. Like, I love this video. I think a lot of people are going to watch it and engage in the comments. And then like the viewers are really low and no one comments and you're like, but it was so good. And then there's other times where you post things and you're like, I don't know if anyone's going to care about this, and then like a crap ton of people watch it. It's really confusing and a little frustrating, frankly. Number 22, adults don't know what they're doing. If you haven't figured that out yet, I think most of the people watching here are adults in some capacity, but I don't know what you're doing. You don't know what you're doing. Number 23, the older you get, the faster time moves and the shorter years seem. Time is a weird thing. Number 24, I've definitely learned this one in the past year. You don't need to feel guilty for not liking or commenting or engaging with a post from a friend. There are so many people out there putting out great content or content that you might want to support, but you only have so much energy and you only have so much time in the day. Engage with the things that really speak to you and be done with it. Number 25, money and material possessions are not worth ruining family relationships. Number 26, I think it's a cliche that a lot of times on TV and movies, we see the therapist asking, tell me about your childhood. And honestly, it shouldn't be a cliche. That's a really good, legitimate question to ask and actually a place where a lot of answers can be found. Number 27, when it comes to books and food, don't knock it till you try it. Number 28, if it's too good to be true, it probably is. Number 29, listen to people when they're sharing their experience or their opinion, especially if you think you're going to disagree with them. Even if you do disagree with their conclusion, don't discount their experience just because it wasn't yours. Number 30, this was a big lesson I learned a couple years back, and that is that communication is the most important part of any relationship, whether that's a romantic relationship, familial, friendship, coworkers, whatever. Communication is so important. Number 31, introversion is not something that needs to be fixed. Number 32, there will always be more story ideas. You're not going to run out. Number 33, ask older family members questions about family history and then write down what they tell you. Ask as many questions as you possibly can while those family members are still alive, because one day they won't be, and your opportunity to find out information about your family will be gone. Sometimes the information can be tracked down, but oftentimes it can't. So ask them now while you have the chance. Number 34, graphic novels, comic books, magazines, ebooks, audiobooks, whatever format and type of reading you are doing, it counts as reading. There's a big debate in the book community about whether audiobooks count as reading, and I don't understand. You're still consuming the information from the text, so who cares if it's read or heard? You're reading a book. It's fine, count it. I also see a lot of teachers even and parents worrying, oh, my kid is only reading comic books. Who cares? Let them read comic books. It still counts as reading. And number 35, tip generously. That's mainly for the Americans watching this. Tip generously. Don't be a jerk. If you can't afford to tip, you can't afford to eat out. And if you're not an American and you're coming to visit, learn about our tipping culture. So those are the lessons I've learned over the last 35 years of my life. If there's one that stood out to you in particular, or one you disagreed with, or one you very much agree with, let me know in the comments. Let me know some of the things that you've learned during your lifetime that have helped you or been a big revelation for you. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more content from me, click the subscribe button. I post videos on on Tuesdays and Fridays. You can also find me over on Instagram at Meredith Phillips Writes, and you can sign up for my newsletter at meredithphillips.com. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye! My name's Meredith E. Phillips. Is this lighting situation good? I don't know what I'm doing. I didn't even like check. Good grief. Okay, is that better, the same? I don't know. My computer just turned itself off. We're doing okay, everyone. Okay, let's try it again for the third time. Ugh.